Chapter 39, The Elemental Wave. Back at the comet front, Amiku introduces Zami to the cubes, and after being given some minor tips, Zami struggles to use them, and it doesn't get better afterwards. All he can do now is keep practicing. Zami rushes to try and create his technology with them. Even Arvin seems interested at first but is later bothered as he doesn't have this tech-generating ability. Before leaving Nahashtu, Nicole was trying to get new members, not now but hopefully soon. They all rejected, only wanting to admire the Legion as they are. Which annoys the Legion due to how repetitive the question is. Amiku, however, states a good few reasons why having such a big varied team could be a flawed idea, and he states all of those reasons in a massive piece of history. The biggest event in the universe, also known as the Elemental Wave. The event consisted of Vata, Xayantha's father, who managed to get hold of the power of all the elements combined, and with this power, he was able to do anything like bring back races from extinction and make brownfield sites into new beautiful lands. But at the same time, getting rid of certain races, ones that could be seen as threatening or ones which are as cocky as Vata. Xayantha and others of the race are keen to put themselves on top. It wasn't just them and their army, other leaders like Orpheon and the Net Robots, Mechajor and the Morphils and even Ozona were there, who were already keen on one of the forms of energy which Vata had. While there are other allies made thanks to Vata making connections, he did have many ally-based meetings, and the ones listed were the main allies, and their armies were gathered to discuss the changes the universe will be having soon. Possession of all that power from the elements isn't easy though. It requires a special machine to fully absorb those elements into the body of the amulet's user. The amulet is what absorbs all the forms of energy, and Vata was using this machine as he tried to pursue his goal. This is why during the end of the Elemental Wave War, everyone used safe and secure ways to gather certain elements such as the Titanrans using vegetation to safely get hold of Livinga and take it with them. Dian uses the Cape of Zemian to grab hold of Viber to take it to the Tengus. Ozona uses some metal to try and contain Forza to keep it to himself, and the last to be collected was a type of energy called Hermota. All of those names were names of the energy sources that Xayantha is currently after and was being possessed by Vata 100 years ago when this certain event took place. Zemian, the creator of Dian, and who created Dian recently, tried to form a legion of his own, consisting of the Titanrans, Sochus and Graditis, who were Amiku's race. After knowing, witnessing and experiencing some intimidation from Vata and his many other allies, this is why Zemian's team couldn't get any more races but was still mixed up. Zemian was alongside Orpheon after being persuaded by Xayantha, but Zemian quickly got to see that this was not how he wanted to fulfill his purpose, and so they are to defend Hermota greatly. Orpheon, however, found out about Zemian's betrayal, and so the fight for Hermota alone occurred, involving many from the bad team, only to lose Hermota, which then leads to the battle as the elemental wave started to happen. This elemental wave was mainly a win for Zemian as the wave didn't go on as much as Vata wanted. Despite losing Hermota, Zemian's team keeps themselves together despite clashing between races such as arguing who is better than one another. They were also questioning each other's methods of defense and mocking each other's cultures. So, they all make their way to Xayantha's planet. All following Zemian as he knows the location of Xayantha's planet by now. All races have their crafts. Except for Dian who flies himself, with a flying Zemian too as they go to the planet and with the Graditis flying their custom cube-like ships to move along. As Vata wears the amulet, he forcefully gets Xayantha to guard him and the other allies to watch all around the planet for any intruders. Being so full of himself makes Xayantha feel belittled considering he is the only one who feels like he has no significant position compared to Orpheon or Mechajor who are leaders of their armies. Hermota was placed in the amulet and now Vata is wearing it and goes inside the machine where he can fully intake the element's power, therefore releasing the universe's reforming wave. But their preparation is about to pay off now that Zemian's team is coming from the heights of the sky. The Titanrans have their massive cruiser, the Carditis have their vehicles made up of a collection of cubes, alike your average saucer as they prefer, and even the Sochus vehicles are the same color and material as them, lava-fueled, like a stretched sphere and a back part to produce the firepower for the vehicle. This is close to the Deepar fortress when it was the main castle of the world, even having its evacuating feature, hence why it's separated from the rest of the world later. All the evil armies start coming together and form a protective scheme around Vata. The Nauravas have many defenses like cannons and even firing shields that are both defensive and offensive. The Morphils act as the primary up-close fighters once Zemian's legion arrives, and the net robots mainly act as the long-range fighters, firing at the ships from afar as well as firing at Zemian's team once they get closer. But to vary all areas, the armies do mix in some cases, like having some Nauravas and net robots alongside the Morphils. It is the main battleground after all. Even the other Nauravas residents who were going about their day also had to move far from the area where the battle was taking place. Zemian's team did attempt to attack while arriving, such as the Graditis throwing cubes from afar which have destroyed most of the defenses. The Sochus jump off their crafts and start firing projectiles from the ground. Zemian's team did attempt to attack while arriving, such as the Graditis throwing cubes from afar which have destroyed most of the defenses. The Sochus jump off their crafts and start firing projectiles from the ground, with the vines hitting away or tangling a lot of the opposite team. Later on, all three races from both sides eventually start to fight up close, despite some races fighting from afar, leading to a brutal fight which is also very varied. As this happens, Xyanthor keeps protecting Vata, even fighting off any of Zemian's team without trouble, and the likes of Ozona, Orpheon, and Mechajor aim to fight either Dian or Zemian. Zemian persuades Dian to stop both Xyanthor and Vata, and Zemian promises to catch up with him. So instead of sticking with the rest of his race, a race that has pushed him aside multiple times, he is aiming to stop Vata's machine before he goes, not caring about anyone else. Dian has made it to the machine. It is still charging. Vata is getting himself familiar with the elements. Having to absorb all four powers at once is doing massive harm to him, but will all heal once the machine helps the machine bind Vata's body properly with the elements. Dian only needs to perform a good few attacks to jar the machine, but that means getting through Xyanthor first, which is not an easy fight. Torrid never made it to the machine, held back by the opposite team, but due to his knowledge of his abilities, he can fight anyone quite well. As the battle goes on, more Sochus are getting closer to the battle, trying to throw more lava blobs as well as forming lava everywhere to give Zemian's team an advantage, and even the Titanrans work with them by making vegetation carry the lava along for both offensive and defensive purposes. Even some Graditis help form massive cubes for the Titanrans to throw, and even get some blunt weapons formed by the Graditis, and the Graditis also use cubes to make the lava spreading go faster by pushing it. This means some good teamwork despite their differences. And not everyone is on the same page, mainly focusing on their race rather than keeping everyone on the same side. The opposite team, however, also have their roles in the battle. The Nauravas, after losing most of their defenses, try and join the battle as the most superior martial artists, getting rid of many. They mainly go for the Graditis as they are more powerful compared to the Titanrans and Sochus. But that also means the Nauravas are the main focus against the battle too. The Nauravas are well armored and bear a staff weapon which is sharp from one side and blunt on the other end, making it a varied weapon. The net robots use all their gadgets like their normal laser guns and ships for air support, meaning a lot of Zemian's team have to watch the skies or afar and fend them off for their safety. The shots could come from anywhere. The Morphils do well to maintain their up-close position, also having their hammer weapons which have long sticks and sharp edges, which makes them blunt forces that can hit any of the enemy races hard. Also, like Zemian's team, they too are sticking closely to their races but get on more thanks to their history and less conflicting differences, which does make them nearly the winning team at one point. This battle will have created rivalries for years to come, especially between the Titanrans and Morphils, despite very few cases of encountering one another. But the bad taste is passed on to future generations via retelling this history again and again. Vata's army also performs some teamwork, like the Nauravas tossing Morphils around for grounding hits, the net robots climbing on top of Morphils to act as sentry guns on a Morphil's back. Nauravas spinning net robots around whenever they get crowded from all areas, and Morphils riding on the Netabots' ships to add to the sky battle. The rest of the fight starts to play out. Zemian and Dian are in bad conditions despite Mechajor losing and Xyanthor getting worn out. Vata begins to unleash the elemental wave. Now the machine helps him absorb all the elements. This distracts Zemian to a point where Orpheon, despite being knocked down, stabs Zemian, killing him, and upsetting Dian as he loses a round to Xyanthor. Orpheon too is sad, but no traitors have a place in Vatus' army. Xyanthor, and even others in the battle, quickly turn round and back again to see what this wave looks like, and the wave even enters the battlefield, getting rid of a couple of Titanrans, Sochus. But nearly all the Graditis except Torrid, and this wave ends up causing the extinction of nearly 1,000 races while performing minor positives such as bringing life to brownfield sites. But this machine cannot go any longer, and so before Xyanthor performs a killing move towards Dian, Dian zooms to the machine, which is high up compared to the rest of the battle. Dian then blasts and attacks the machine, stopping the wave, and stopping Vata, and all this element energy explodes and starts to affect the whole planet, considering the amulet also gets damaged by the explosion of the machine. A weaker amulet design compared to the current updated new one, and stopping Vata and the destruction of the planet ends this battle. Flooding, fire, winds, lightning, vegetation, altering materials, animal spirits, and moving ice go all around as the lands get destroyed, killing a whole planet. Overall, all sorts happened in the aftermath. The Graditis are all wiped out. The Sochus and Titanrans lost a good few of their own and hid in the shadows, with the Titanrans taking the Livingar until finding out what else to do instead of being galactic protectors as many races used to be. Ozona took the chance to get hold of what would be his definitive power, as the Legion would see 100 years later. Dian took the form of energy that he gave to the Tengus, which remained as Zemian's task even after Zemian died in the hands of Orpheon as Zemian was fighting him. Ozona and Mechajor all at once to keep them away from the army's fight, and Torrid wanted Hermota to himself, to explore the many possibilities, but at the same time, this experimentation would cost lives, and he would be willing to decrease many lives to go on with his experimentations. And Hermota isn't keen in these experimentations, hence why it acts wildly. Xyanthor has also lost all of his race, even not knowing if Vata is either dead or lost, and even Torrid is unknown to be alive or not, with no answer to where Hermota is. The most mysteriously placed power compared to what else Xyanthor is after. Xyanthor lost his planet due to the machine exploding the power all around. There is the Deepar fortress, which was evacuated from the ground of Xyanthor's planet as the planet was getting destroyed from all the element activity. Thanks to Vata, there were way more allies made across the universe. The influence to join their cause was great. And the influence would help Xyanthor reach the heights he has today, whether he retains connections with his current allies or gets new ones. But the thing is, Xyanthor will only get allies to benefit him. He is befriending dudes until he gets the full power. Then he will get rid of all his allies, as these are races who are into combat like he is, which he doesn't like, while also being able to bring his race back, and many other races that were once extinct depending on the kind of alien. All of those allies, including the ones he sent to the Arctic, would die in the future, as they are beings capable of combat, and even if they have been loyal so far, Xyanthor is not taking any chances, and neither was Vata. Amiku concludes the story by talking about the flaws that could come about when creating a team of a variety of alien beings. Different races would mean different goals, not everyone will be on the same wavelength. And some races may have more of an advantage compared to others, and it may get other races involved at the point of extinction. The Legion may have been successful so far, but they will be in trouble in the future, especially if more get involved. The story from Amiku ended, making Nicole consider various other ideas that Amiku stated along the way, such as losing track of certain beings, a misbalance of power levels, or anyone getting influenced. This makes Nicole think about the team she has now and what will the Legion be like in the future, something which makes the others wonder too. Regardless, they have made it to the Sochus planet, only to find out that the Sochus are hostages on their planet. Surrounded by upgraded Stonos, and the Legion now needs to find a way to save the Sochus. Seeing that the Sochus are hostages, Nicole has a level head. Opusnost is keen to fight and the rest are slightly anxious and nothing happens to them. If these Sochus die, the Legion will be responsible now they are involved, and the Sochus need to live to aid the possibility of protecting Ozona's power. Nicole does come up with a good plan, to throw projectiles from every angle of the crowd of Sochus and slowly get closer to get rid of all of the upgraded Stoners, and they do all need to go considering they are only made for violence, an artificial race. Zami zaps multiple ones from afar while also trying to use cubes, but they all misfire, nearly hitting the Sochus, which they noticed, and Nicole uses her grenade launcher to get rid of a majority too. Pod controls fire, ice and water too from a ring around the army to get rid of some while preventing them from getting to the Legion. Opusnost is the only one who fights the goons up close, having fun slicing one by one, to which Arvin joins as well. With Opusnost seeing that the help is needed considering how many there are. Amiku uses his cubes to get rid of other upgraded Stonos too while forming a barrier around the Sochus to protect them, even getting them out of chains considering the Sochus were chained up to one spot. Resulting in an overall decent plan. Regardless, the Legion and the duo do well, getting rid of most of the army, and we would say most because the rest are all over the galaxy. The Sochus thank the Legion, and as Amiku states there will be more and they will possibly come to the Legion. The Legion explains that Ozona's power would need to be protected on the Sochus planet, and the Sochus are happy, but a defense needs to be formed. The Sochus have a variety of rocks and a special vault which enables them to contain and hide Ozan's power, and so they go and make a start. As this moment happens, this is everyone's introduction to what the Sochus and upgraded Stonos are like. The Sochus are your average statues except they are made up of a stone-like bark which is also volcanic considering they are lava-based creatures and blue lava at that. They are also very tall, nearly 9 foot tall, all bearing a staff of the same material, with blue eyes and veins all around.